What if I told you that 9 out of 10 seniors have a vitamin deficiency so common that doctors often overlook it, yet it's quietly contributing to fatigue, muscle weakness, bone problems, and even depression? A deficiency so widespread that researchers are calling it a hidden epidemic among older adults. This isn't some exotic nutrient you've never heard of. It's a vitamin that's absolutely essential for over 300 processes in your body. Yet getting adequate amounts becomes surprisingly difficult after age 60, even if you think you're eating a healthy diet. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to reveal which vitamin deficiency affects nearly every senior, explain why it's so hard to get enough as we age, and give you a simple, science-based plan to optimize your levels safely and effectively. But here's what might shock you most. The symptoms of this deficiency are so commonly dismissed as normal aging that millions of seniors are suffering unnecessarily. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share could explain why you've been feeling more tired, achy, or mentally foggy lately, and more importantly, how to fix it. Let me paint a picture that might sound familiar. You wake up in the morning already feeling tired. Your joints ache more than they used to, especially in your back and legs. You find yourself catching every cold that goes around, and when you do get sick, it takes longer to recover than it used to. Maybe your doctor has mentioned that your bones aren't as strong as they should be, or you've noticed that you feel a bit more down or depressed, especially during the winter months. You might have even mentioned these symptoms to your healthcare provider, only to be told that they're just part of getting older. But what if they're not? What if there's a single underlying factor contributing to all of these issues? A factor that's completely fixable. Here's what most people don't realize. After age 60, your body undergoes several changes that make it extremely difficult to maintain adequate levels of certain essential nutrients, even if you're eating well and taking a multivitamin. These changes happen gradually, so you might not notice the effects for months or even years. Meanwhile, the symptoms develop so slowly that they're easy to dismiss as normal aging. Your energy decreases a little bit each month. Your muscles feel a little weaker. Your mood dips slightly. These changes are so gradual that by the time they're significant enough to really bother you, the underlying deficiency has been going on for years. The vitamin I'm talking about today affects more seniors than any other nutrient deficiency, yet it's one of the easiest to address once you understand what's happening and why. That vitamin is vitamin D. Now, before you think, I already know about vitamin D, and click away, let me tell you why this video is different. Most people think they know about vitamin D. They've heard it's good for bones, maybe they've heard it comes from sunlight, but the research on vitamin D has exploded in the past decade, and what we now know about its role in senior health goes far beyond what most people understand. We now know that vitamin D acts more like a hormone than a traditional vitamin in your body. It has receptors in virtually every tissue and organ, influencing everything from immune function to muscle strength to brain health. And here's the critical part. The amount you need for optimal health is much higher than what most seniors are getting, even those who think they're doing everything right. Let me show you exactly why this deficiency is so common in seniors, and more importantly, how to fix it properly. There are 5 specific reasons why vitamin D deficiency becomes almost inevitable after age 60. Even for health-conscious seniors. Reason number 1, your skin becomes less efficient. As we age, our skin loses about 75% of its ability to produce vitamin D from sunlight. This happens because the skin becomes thinner and contains less of a compound called 7-dehydrocholesterol, which is what converts to vitamin D when exposed to UV rays. This means that even if you spend the same amount of time in the sun as you did when you were younger, you're producing significantly less vitamin D. A 70-year-old needs to spend about 4 times longer in the sun than a 20-year-old to produce the same amount of vitamin D. Reason number 2, you probably spend more time indoors. Many seniors naturally spend more time indoors due to mobility issues, health concerns, or simply lifestyle changes. But here's what most people don't realize. Vitamin D production from sunlight only happens when you're exposed to UVB rays, which don't penetrate through glass. Sitting by a sunny window won't help your vitamin D levels. You need direct sun exposure on your skin. and it needs to be during the middle of the day when UVB rays are strongest. For many seniors, this type of sun exposure becomes less frequent. Reason number 3, your kidneys work less efficiently. Your kidneys play a crucial role in converting vitamin D into its active form. As we age, kidney function naturally declines, even in healthy seniors. This means that even if you're getting some vitamin D from sun or supplements, your body may not be converting it effectively into the form your cells can actually use. Reason number 4, certain medications interfere. Many medications commonly prescribed to seniors can interfere with vitamin D metabolism. These include corticosteroids, some cholesterol medications, certain blood pressure medications, and even some antacids when used regularly. If you're taking multiple medications, which is common for seniors, the interference effect can be significant. Reason number 5, dietary sources are limited. Unlike other vitamins that are abundant in various foods, very few foods naturally contain significant amounts of vitamin D. Fatty fish like salmon and mackerel are the best sources, but you'd need to eat them several times per week to get adequate amounts. Fortified foods like milk and cereals help, but they typically don't contain enough to meet the needs of seniors. This combination of factors explains why studies consistently show that 80 to 90% of seniors have vitamin D levels that are below optimal, and about 40% have levels that are severely deficient. Now let's talk about how vitamin D deficiency actually affects your body. These symptoms are so commonly attributed to aging that most people, and even some healthcare providers, don't recognize them as signs of a correctable deficiency. Fatigue and low energy. Vitamin D plays a crucial role in cellular energy production. When you're deficient, your cells literally can't produce energy as efficiently. This isn't the kind of tiredness that goes away after a good night's sleep. It's a persistent, underlying fatigue that makes everything feel more difficult. Many seniors accept this as inevitable aging. But research shows that correcting vitamin D deficiency can lead to significant improvements in energy levels within 6 to 12 weeks. Muscle weakness and aches. Your muscles need adequate vitamin D to function properly. Deficiency can cause muscle weakness, particularly in the large muscle groups, like your thighs and upper arms. You might notice it's harder to get up from a chair, climb stairs, or carry groceries. You might also experience muscle aches and pains, particularly in your back, ribs, and legs. These aches are often described as deep, dull pains that seem to come from within the bones themselves. Frequent infections. Vitamin D is crucial for immune system function. It helps activate your body's defense mechanisms and regulates inflammation. When you're deficient, you're more susceptible to respiratory infections like colds and flu, and these infections tend to last longer and be more severe. Some research suggests that adequate vitamin D levels may help reduce the risk of respiratory infections by up to 50% in seniors. Bone and joint problems. While most people know vitamin D is important for bone health, they might not realize that deficiency can cause bone pain and increase fracture risk long before osteoporosis shows up on a bone density scan. Vitamin D deficiency can also contribute to joint stiffness and pain, particularly in weight-bearing joints like hips and knees. Mood changes. Vitamin D receptors are found throughout the brain, and deficiency has been linked to depression and mood changes, particularly during winter months when sun exposure is limited. This isn't just about seasonal blues. Chronic deficiency can contribute to persistent low mood and anxiety. Sleep problems. Emerging research suggests that vitamin D plays a role in sleep regulation. Deficiency may contribute to sleep disorders and poor sleep quality, which then creates a cycle of fatigue and health problems. The key thing to understand is that these symptoms often develop gradually over months or years, so they're easy to dismiss as normal aging rather than recognizing them as signs of a treatable deficiency. Before we talk about fixing a vitamin D deficiency, it's important to know where you stand. The blood test you want is called 25-hydroxyvitamin D or 25-OHD. This is different from other vitamin D tests and gives the most accurate picture of your vitamin D status. Understanding the numbers. Most labs will report your results in nanograms per milliliter, ng per mil. Here's how to interpret them. Below 20 ng per mil, deficient 20 to 29 ng per mil, insufficient 30 to 50 ng per mil sufficient. Above 50 ng per mil, high but not necessarily toxic. However, many vitamin D researchers now believe that optimal levels for seniors should be between 40 to 60 ng per mil, which is higher than the traditional sufficient range. When to test? The best time to test is at the end of winter when your levels are typically at their lowest. However, if you're experiencing symptoms that could be related to deficiency, testing any time of year can be helpful. Most healthcare providers will order this test if you request it, especially if you're experiencing symptoms or have risk factors for deficiency. Some insurance plans cover the test, while others may require you to pay out of pocket, typically $50 to $100. Now let's get to the practical part, how to safely and effectively optimize your vitamin D levels. There are three main approaches, and the best strategy usually involves combining them. Approach number 1, smart sun exposure. While sun exposure becomes less efficient as we age, it can still contribute to your vitamin D levels when done correctly. The guidelines: expose arms and legs to direct sunlight for 10 to 15 minutes daily during peak UVB hours, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Start with shorter exposure times to avoid burning, especially if you have fair skin. UVB rays are strongest when your shadow is shorter than your height. This needs to be direct sun exposure, not through windows or clothing. Important considerations for seniors: if you have a history of skin cancer or take medications that increase sun sensitivity, consult with your healthcare provider first. Sun exposure alone is unlikely to be sufficient for most seniors, especially during winter months. Be mindful of balance and fall risk when spending time outdoors. Approach number 2, dietary sources. While few foods naturally contain vitamin D, incorporating the best dietary sources can help support your levels. Best food sources: fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines, tuna, 3 to 4 servings per week, egg yolks from pasture-raised chickens, mushrooms exposed to UV light, fortified foods, milk, plant-based milk alternatives, cereals. Realistic expectations: even with an optimal diet including regular fish consumption, most seniors will only get about 200 to 400 IU per day from food sources. This is helpful, but typically not sufficient to achieve optimal levels. Approach number 3. For most seniors, supplementation is the most practical and effective way to achieve and maintain optimal vitamin D levels. Choosing the right supplement. Vitamin D3 versus D2. Choose vitamin D3, cholecalciferol, over D2, ergocalciferol. D3 is more effective at raising and maintaining blood levels. Dosage guidelines: the amount you need depends on your current blood levels, but general guidelines for seniors are: for maintenance, if levels are already adequate, 1,000 to 2,000 IU daily. For mild deficiency, 2,000 to 4,000 IU daily. For significant deficiency, 4,000 to 6,000 IU daily under healthcare provider guidance. Important notes: these doses are higher than the official RDA, but research supports these amounts for seniors. It typically takes 8 to 12 weeks of consistent supplementation to see significant changes in blood levels. Higher doses should be monitored by a healthcare provider. Absorption tips: take vitamin D with a meal containing some fat. It's a fat-soluble vitamin. Consistency is more important than timing. Pick a time you'll remember and stick with it. Some people absorb liquid or soft gel forms better than tablets. What about cofactors? Vitamin D works best when you have adequate levels of magnesium, helps convert D to its active form. Vitamin K2 helps direct calcium to bones rather than arteries. Calcium, but most seniors get enough from diet. Some supplements combine these nutrients, which can be convenient. While vitamin D deficiency is dangerous, it's also important to supplement safely. Potential risks of too much. Vitamin D toxicity is rare but possible with very high doses, usually above 10,000 IU daily for extended periods. Symptoms include nausea, weakness, and kidney problems. The main concern is elevated blood calcium levels. Who should be extra cautious? People with kidney disease, those taking certain heart medications, digoxin, people with a history of kidney stones, anyone taking high doses of calcium supplements. Monitoring: retest your blood levels after 8 to 12 weeks of supplementation. Adjust dosage based on results. Once optimal levels are achieved, annual monitoring is usually sufficient. Drug interactions. Vitamin D can affect the absorption of certain medications, So if you take prescription drugs, space them at least 2 hours apart from your vitamin D supplement or consult with your pharmacist. Let's talk about realistic expectations as you work to optimize your vitamin D levels. Timeline for improvement. Weeks 1 to 4. You probably won't notice dramatic changes yet, as it takes time for your blood levels to rise and your cells to respond. Week 6 to 12. This is typically when people start noticing improvements. You might experience increased energy levels, less muscle aches and pains, improved mood, better sleep quality, fewer minor infections. 3 to 6 months. With consistently optimal levels, you may notice continued improvement in energy and mood, better muscle strength and balance, improved bone health markers if tested. Important notes. Individual responses vary significantly. Some people notice changes within weeks, others take several months. The severity of your initial deficiency affects how dramatic the improvements will be. Other health conditions can influence how quickly you respond. Here are the most common mistakes people make when trying to address vitamin D deficiency. Mistake number 1, taking too little. Many people take 400 to 800 IU daily because that's what's in their multivitamin, but this amount is usually insufficient for seniors with deficiency. Mistake number 2, inconsistent supplementation. Taking large doses sporadically is less effective than taking moderate doses consistently. Your body processes vitamin D better with regular, steady intake. Mistake number 3, not testing. Guessing about your vitamin D status can lead to taking too little or too much. Testing takes the guesswork out of supplementation. Mistake number 4, expecting instant results. Vitamin D isn't like caffeine. You won't feel different immediately. It takes weeks to months to optimize your levels and experience the full benefits. Mistake number 5, stopping too soon. Some people feel better after a few weeks and stop supplementing, only to have their levels drop again. Maintaining optimal levels requires ongoing attention. Mistake number 6, ignoring absorption issues. Taking vitamin D on an empty stomach or with certain medications can reduce absorption significantly. For those who want to optimize their approach even further, consider your individual factors. Body weight affects vitamin D needs. Larger people typically need more. Darker skin requires more sun exposure or supplementation. Certain health conditions, like Crohn's disease, can affect absorption. Geographic location affects how much sun exposure is possible. Seasonal adjustments. Many people benefit from higher doses during winter months when sun exposure is limited, and lower maintenance doses during summer. The calcium connection. While vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium, taking high doses of calcium supplements isn't necessary for most people and may even be harmful. Focus on getting calcium from food sources like dairy, leafy greens, and fish with bones. Here's your action plan starting today. Step 1. If you haven't had your vitamin D level tested in the past year, schedule this test with your healthcare provider. If they're hesitant, explain that you're experiencing symptoms that could be related to deficiency. Step 2. While waiting for test results, you can safely start with 2,000 IU of vitamin D3 daily. This amount is safe for virtually everyone and will begin the process of raising your levels. Step 3. Take your supplement with a meal that contains some fat and pick a consistent time each day. Step 4. Keep a simple journal noting your energy levels, muscle aches, mood, and sleep quality. This will help you track improvements over time. Step 5. Retest your levels in 8 to 12 weeks and adjust your dosage based on the results. Don't let another month go by accepting fatigue, aches, and low mood as inevitable parts of aging. Vitamin D deficiency is one of the easiest nutritional problems to fix, yet it can have profound effects on how you feel and function. If this information was helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more evidence-based strategies for healthy aging. Share this with friends and family members who might be struggling with unexplained fatigue or health issues. You could be helping them solve a problem they didn't even know they had. Remember, vitamin D deficiency isn't a normal part of aging. It's a correctable problem that affects the vast majority of seniors. The symptoms are real, the solutions are simple, and the improvements can be life-changing. Your body has a remarkable ability to heal and optimize when given the nutrients it needs. Vitamin D is one of the most important pieces of the puzzle, especially after age 60. Take action, Be patient with the process, and don't accept feeling tired and achy as your new normal. Better health and vitality are possible at any age. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll explore another key factor in healthy aging that most seniors overlook.